Oh, hello. Something a bit different on the channel today. We're going to be looking at Horus Heresy. So Mrs. Tabletop Impulse and I were very keen, as I've talked about a couple of times on various live streams, to do a little escalation campaign just with our two Horus Heresy armies called the Embers of Istvaan. So this is going to be the first sort of episode in our kind of, I guess you could call it, Tale of Two Gamers, right? Looking at that. So you might be curious, this is mainly a kill team channel. Why are we doing Horus Heresy? The kind of the game for people for whom they really wanted to play 40k at 3,000 points. You know, it's the other end of the scale from kill team, although not yet. So, Mrs. Tabletop Impulse and I have always loved Horus Heresy. We have a frighteningly large amount of resin from the first time the Horus Heresy released. You know, actually make myself quite upset thinking about how, as an adult now, with a stepson and another baby on the way, like how much money we spent in the past on resin. But it's there, it's been paid for, it's on the shelves, so it may as well get used. So now we're entering the second golden age of 30k. We're going to do a slow grow narrative campaign. So for those of you that haven't seen the concept of like a slow grow before, we're going to start with 500 points. And then we're going to go up by 250 points each time we have a game. So 500 point game, then a 750 point game, then a 1,000 point game, and so on. Potentially all the way up to 3,000 points, right? We'll see how long we're kind of interested and how long we keep going with it, but that's the plan. And then every time we play a game, you're going to get a video where we go through list building and lessons learned from playing games. We haven't played our first game yet, so this video won't have any kind of post-match analysis in, but then the next video will be like 750 points, how did the 500 point game go, and how did we decide to adapt our army lists, spend that next 250 points. The videos aren't going to be that regular because obviously the hobby element has to come in between, so I'm going to build and paint the next 250 points before I do the next video. So it's still mainly going to be, it's going to be an irregular feature on my channel, which is still mainly going to be a kill team channel. We are starting with Zone Mortalis, so it's the kind of corridors board. It ties in quite well with kill team, I guess, who are getting a corridors type supplement shortly. So maybe some of the channel regulars be interested in it from that perspective, maybe doing a 500 or a 750 or 1,000 point force for Zone Mortalis and then never taking it any further as a sort of a different kind of sort of squad level, but still a small kind of number of figures on the board kind of a game. Let's talk a little bit more about Zone Mortalis. So the Zone Mortalis rules were originally published in White Dwarf, so they're not in the main Horus Heresy rulebooks, unfortunately. It is White Dwarf. I've not got it in front of me. It is White Dwarf, not the current one. I think it is 477 with the Zone Mortalis rules in. I think. Don't quote me. It might be 476. Now so this force organization chart up here. Let me just get my laser pointer. This force organization chart up here will be a familiar concept to people who've played Horus Heresy in the past, or they've played 7th edition 40k. But it's very different for Zone Mortalis, right? So we have 5 troops choices, one of which is flagged as compulsory, 2 HQs, one of which is flagged as compulsory. We have 2 elites, 2 fast, 1 heavy, and 1 Primarch. You can bring your Primarch in Zone Mortalis, although there is a rule that your Primarch, I think it's still a rule anyway, that your Primarch can't be worth more than 25% of your total army. So if you're taking if you've got like Horus Lupercal's 500 points, so if you're taking him, you have to be playing a 2,000 point game, and so on. So let's look at the rules for Zone Mortalis. Now, no unit may include more than 15 models, so often in default Horus Heresy, you can have some units go up to 20. Like, quite famously, the size of a tactical squad in the Horus Heresy is 20 miniatures, only 15 in ZM. You can get above that if you're adding things in later, like apothecaries and tech marines, and they have to join a unit, and that can take it over the limit of 15. Apothecaries, tech marines are a big thing in 30k. You buy them as characters and then you join them onto units. They kind of work like there were little add-on characters in War Machine. At least when I used to play War Machine, you get like little supports for your units. They kind of work like that, so they have to be permanently sort of put in as part of the unit. Also, unlike modern 40k, your main sort of captain level independent characters, they can join units, but they can leave the units during the game. You can't take dedicated transports. You can't take armigers or vehicle units, so that's not happening. You can't take models with the Dreadnought unit type, the Automata unit type, or the Monstrous unit subtype if they have a wounds characteristic of 7 or more. So you can take the Contemptors, you can take the box Dreadnoughts, you just can't take the big... you can't take the Domitor Autonoma, you can't take the big Dreadnoughts. The name's just gone from my head. The big heavy support Dreadnoughts that are massive. The Leviathan Dreadnoughts, that's the one. Can't take those because they have too many wounds. And you can't have anything with the anti-grav subtype, so you can't take jet bikes or skimmers. So that's what we're going to try first of all, and it's played on a corridor board. I've not reproduced the whole rules here. If you'd like me to do a page-by-page review of the Zone Mortalis rules for Horus Heresy, that is something I'd be quite happy to do on the channel. Let me know in the comments. It's one of those things where I don't want to come at the channel with too much Horus Heresy stuff, because I'm aware that most of you are here for Kill Team. But if you want more kind of talking head Horus Heresy content, as opposed to just this series, which is kind of half a hobby thing and like a lifestyle bloggy thing, then let me know. I'd be happy to do that, but it's one of those things where I've got to tread carefully because I don't want to dilute the Kill Team content of the channel down too much. And I've already got the sort of hobby strand of things that I'm trying to put into the channel as well. So let me know in the comments about that. Yeah, so we're going to use Necromunda Underhive tiles to start off with. I do have plastic Zone Mortalis stuff. It's in boxes with the shrink wraps in the boxes because it's shameful. To be honest, I was going to get my Zone Mortalis plastic stuff built and painted. That was on my list of things to do. And now, of course, I'm waiting to see what's coming for Kill Team in terms of what their version of that Zone Mortalis terrain is going to be, to try and consolidate what I have and see what's going on in that regard. And then we will hopefully get to do a normal game once we get to about 2,000 points, although I'm not quite, I'm pretty sure in our new house to play a game on larger than a 4x4, gonna have to legitimately buy a new piece of furniture. And that's if I can find a way to make a new piece of furniture fit in the house. So hold that thought, but we're certainly going to go up to 1,750 points on Zone Mortalis because we've got a 4x4 that we can put on our dining table. That's no problem. So we're going to start off with my Emperor's Children. So this is 500 points of Emperor's Children for Zone Mortalis. So over here, slightly blurry, unfortunately, but he's on the starting slide of the thing. You can go back and have a look at him. This is my Centurion. So this is a conversion. This is actually the spear from the 40k Vulcan Hestan miniature that my wife bought for some other conversion pieces and had a spare spear. I think it's just a sort of a spare kind of default resin Mark IV body that I had lying around. And then the head and the shoulder pad. Basically, there's an elite unit for the Emperor's Children called the Palatine Blades. You buy them in 5s and you get parts for a sergeant. This is basically the spare sergeant parts from the second 5 that I bought to bring that unit up to 10 back in the day. So this is my Centurion. Centurion is basically a low-level HQ choice. It's a rule in Horus Heresy that you can't take a Praetor, which is kind of the captain level character, if you want. Anything with Master of the Legion, you can't take in games of less than 1,000 points. So in 500 and 750, both our armies are going to have to be led by a Centurion. Now, Centurions can have an upgrade to make them into things like Librarians and Apothecaries, Chief Apothecaries, I should say, and chaplains, and all kinds of other weird and more esoteric things as well. I haven't got any of those upgrades simply because 500 points is quite tight, okay? I have named my Centurion, so he is Theodada Telman, the Herald of the Golden Dust. I'm pretty sure I wrote Golden Dusk originally, but it's become Golden Dust, so that's what we're having. And he's got a power weapon, and then his power weapon, one of the things Emperor's Children can do is he's upgraded his power weapon to a Phoenix Power Spear for free. So it's like all the legions have a special, or many of them have a special piece of war gear that they can, you kind of buy the power weapon, you can upgrade it, or you buy the power fish, you can upgrade it depending on what the rule says. And he's got a jump pack. It's funny, in the previous version of Zone Mortalis for the last edition of Horus Heresy, jump packs were not very good. But they seem to have gotten rid of that rule where you can hurt yourself by hitting your head on the ceiling with the jump pack now. So looking forward to using my jump pack equipped troops. Then for my mandatory troops option, I have a Legion Assault Squad, the Fraternity of the Unsullied Eagle. So again, I've got a Sergeant with a power weapon, and his power weapon is upgraded to a Phoenix Power Spear, so it's my second Phoenix Power Spear. My Sergeant has a Hand Flamer. I had the 5 points to spare, and I'd already built this model years ago with a little hand flamer. I did think about taking it off and swapping it for a Volkite pistol, which is the same points cost. But hand flamer seems like it'd be pretty fun, pretty good in Zone Mortalis, so left him there with the hand flamer. And then in the squad, I've got 2 power weapons in there. I could have, if I had the points, put in 2 pistol upgrades as well, so either plasma pistol, inferno pistol, or the plasma pistol hand flamer, or the Volkite pistol. Didn't have the points, didn't have the miniatures, had already built these a certain way. What's interesting about those pistols is they don't have to be on the same model as the power swords. So in fact, what I would probably do is split them around the squad so that you've got your special things more diluted, I think. Although if you have them concentrated, it means you can take off more chaff before you lose your stuff. But I feel like once you're in combat, you're going to care less about your pistols. So if I got round to adding 5 more to this squad to take it up to the 15, I could add in loads of those pistol weapons that I haven't used before, as well as another power sword. That's an option. I've got Artificer Armour for the Sergeant, and I've rather pointlessly bought Melter Bombs, but they were useful for doors and things. I didn't list Taylor for this list, didn't know what Helen was going to take. She hasn't taken a Dreadnought, so the Melter Bombs are going to be a bit... In fact, they're pointless against Dreadnoughts anyway, because they're not vehicles anymore. Will be useful against the doors. I guess I could have spent the points on the 10 Melter Bombs for 2 more Hand Flamers. That might have been the sensible thing to do, but I physically didn't own... I think I've got 1 more of these Hand Flamer pieces, and I'd had to have gone to Forge World and ordered a whole, like, £12 set of weapons for another Hand Flamer. So that's why I didn't do that. And then in the back we got the Contemptor. So the Contemptor is like the dominant unit in the Zone Mortalis meta. My Contemptor, the Venerable Slovidin, is armed with a Chain Fist and a Power Fist. The model actually has 2 Chain Fists, but that's pointless because if you have a Chain Fist and a Power Fist, like having both gives you an extra attack. Like having 2 Power Fists or 2 Chain Fists gives an extra attack, and then you can choose whether to use the Power Fist or the Chain Fist in any given combat. So even though he's modelled with 2 Chain Fists, he's only actually got 1 Chain Fist, because it would otherwise just be spending 10 points to lose flexibility, which is pointless. And his fists have built-in melter guns, so he's got 2 melter guns. So that's my force. It's going to be 2 units. Obviously the Centurion will join the jump back infantry. 2 units running around on the little... it's only a little 2x2 board for 500 points, and we'll see how we go. Have a look at Mrs. Tabletop Impulse's Salamanders. So, again, she's got a Centurion. She's gone for the Volkite Serpenta, which is the Volkite pistol. She's gone for a power weapon. She's gone for a power axe. And then one of the Salamander special rules is that they can mastercraft their weapon, but they have to pay 10 points. So whereas I can swap my weapons out for the Phoenix weapons, Salamanders can mastercraft, they do have to pay points for that, which is a bit sad. Then she's got the Legion Breaches over here on the left-hand side. Breaches are really cool, especially in Zone Mortalis. They're really hard to shift in those corridors. They can be great screening units. I don't have any breaches. It's something I've considered picking some up to put a bit more texture in the army, but she had these painted up already, so they're perfect for Zone Mortalis, and they've got 2 flamers in the unit there, and Salamander's flamers are just better than everybody else's flamers. That's one of their special rules. So Mrs. T.I. is really trying to build in as many flamers as she possibly can into the list to really maximise on that kind of flamer theme. And in Zone Mortalis, flamers become better anyway, like there's a special rule. So I really feel like this is going to be a case of I want to charge into combat. I'll be better in combat, but she'll have to kill. She'll kill a lot of my guys with the kind of the wall of death, the return fire ability of the flamers when you charge unit with flamers. So we'll have to see how that goes. And then in her elite's choice, she's got the pyroclasts. The pyroclasts have a special flamer that can also be used as a melter gun, so they effectively have a flamer / melter gun depending on the mode of fire. Really cool. She's given the sergeant a power weapon, largely so you can see who the sergeant is. I think it's pretty cool as well. And there's seven pyroclasts. I think I accidentally put 8 out for the picture. Obviously, she's got the full unit of 10, but then she was running low on points, so we got 7 pyroclasts, the centurion, and the 10 breachers, which is the minimum size for the breachers. Pretty scared of those pyroclasts, I have to say. I think they're going to do a lot of work. She really likes pyroclasts. I think she's eventually building towards... So Salamanders have a right of war that lets you take pyroclasts as troops. Unfortunately, to do that right of war, you have to take a second HQ. You have to have a champion, as well as someone who can unlock rights of war, which would either be a centurion with the delegatus upgrade. Because normally, I should explain, normally you can't have a right of war until you've got someone with that Master of the Legion rule I talked about before, that makes them, that normally makes them only eligible to play in 1,000-point games or higher. If you want to take a right of war in a lower points game, you have one option, which is to take Centurion and give him an upgrade, making him a Delegatus, which is like someone who has had a small force delegated to them, and you can then take a right of war. So you could do that to get a right of war in 500 or 750 points, but one of the requirements for the right of war she wants to take to move these into troops, give them line, make them really, really good, requires that second model, requires that... company champion. So, but still a hardy force. I'm pretty terrified of it. She's again got 2, so she's got 2 squads on the character. I've got a squad of Dreadnought on a character. We'll have to see which is superior. And that brings on to the final thoughts. So let me know. I'm aware that most of the people watching this are going to be Kill Team fans, because it's predominantly been a Kill Team channel with some hobby content, and now we've got added that third strand. We're going to do some Horus Heresy stuff. Don't worry, we're still going to remain a Kill Team focused channel. You know, I intend to make this kind of an irregular, maybe like monthly series of dropping in a Horus Heresy video among all the Kill Team content. I don't plan on covering all the Horus Heresy news, all the Horus Heresy new releases, erratas, FAQs, things in White Dwarf in the same detail I do with Kill Team. But if you'd like that, if you would like the same depth of coverage, do let me know in the description, you know, whether you'd like me to try and cover Horus Heresy in the same detail that I currently cover Kill Team. For me, honestly, Kill Team is my main game. It's the game that I want to play competitively and I want to care about competitively. Horus Heresy is a narrative focused game for me, and of course the big problem that I'm having, being a guy that loves Kill Team but that also loves painting, is just Kill Team alone does not give me, like, I always have to have a project on my hobby desk, right? Hobby desk is right here, right next to my computer, and I have to have something on there so that I feel like painting, it's right there and I can go paint 15, 20 minutes to get some painting done. And Kill Team simply doesn't provide me with enough stuff, so I need to be playing, even though I prefer, game-wise, a skirmish game, I need to be playing a mass battle game, or at least thinking about a mass battle game, so that I've got stuff to paint, right? Because I have 3 painted Kill Teams. I'm not really inspired to do another one right yet. Maybe when the new box comes out, I might paint up the Navy. We'll see. So it's one of those things. The next video will feature the first after-action report from the game. So that's going to be like this video, but with an extra segment at the top that says this is how we went along in our 500 points game, and then you can kind of see why we've decided to spend the next 250 points based on our experiences in that game. I think that's about everything I need to say on this for this video. Just if you're really into Horus Heresy and you found this video, give the video a like, give the channel a subscribe, and leave me some words of encouragement in the comments to say that you love more Horus Heresy stuff. Likewise, if you're one of the main people, or we're getting past. I think we're getting up to 800 subscribers now. If you're here for the Kill Team content, you're really not here for this. That might be a bit of a negative thing, but please do let me know because I'd really like your feedback. And if you're just here for anything, you're one of these people that just likes a YouTube channel and then would listen to that channel person talking about anything, then also let me know. Obviously, as you can tell, I'm a little bit nervous, a little bit trepidatious about doing something like this on a channel because it can, moving around different games can cause problems. So we'll see how it goes. And yeah, have a great day, whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're playing or rolling dice or just having one of those days where you sit and watch loads of YouTube. That's fine as well. All right, thanks folks, and I'll see you next time.